anxiety, depression, and anger are very normal now. And it's not a surprise that we're experiencing it. And we experience it so much because we're in a really misguided society. And it's not just in the US, but it's worldwide. We are misguided because our true essence as human beings is to laugh and to have fun and to enjoy life. And most of us are not. Worldwide, we have the most comfortable lives. Not every single place in the world. There are still by far too many places of poverty and starvation, no food and water to drink. But there are more people in this world that have those luxuries. Most of us in this world live better than kings do. We have toilets that we can flush. We have showers that we can turn on with hot and cold water most times. Most people experience this. And again, I like to remember. I don't like to forget, but I like to say in the positive. I like to remember the people and honor the people in this world that are gravely suffering. There is a difference of life experience because of our energy and because of the karmic cycle. This earth was, given to us by God. And we have progressed over time with ideas that God planted into our minds, into inventors' minds, to create certain things and to expand since the Industrial Revolution and grow in technology and grow in skill. But there still is this patriarchal approach to work and to the way that we see and express this life. And it is through a hierarchy system. And this is okay. There are people who do the work, and a lot of humans are really lazy, and there's humans that are, this earth is filled with them. And I'm one of them. And I'm not the easiest person. I'm actually I'm very cool, calm, and collected to a certain extent. I'm very loving and kind is not always nice. I don't want to say I don't overstep people, but I definitely overstep people's levels of comfortability. Okay. And I'm just so grateful that I have this courage now to speak up instead of being quiet. But a lot of times I have lost jobs because of this. I've worked as a registered nurse almost for a decade now. And, I've done a lot of travel nursing and worked in different hospitals. But anytime that I've had an issue, it wasn't because of a patient. I'm very safe and I'm very skilled in what I do. It's never been about a patient or patient's safety. It's always been an issue with another fucking employee. Excuse my language. How did I get off track on this? Talking about this. I don't know. What I'm saying is we have so many conditions between each other, which we are taught this to be normal, that creates so many problems, unnecessary issues. And we have trust issues, which is completely understandable because so many humans have shown us to be untrustworthy. Okay? And that we need to be wary of each other. But most people don't want to do things like that. And the reason why, I always talk about this, the reason why people cheat, the reason why people lie and steal, I always like to tie everything into infidelity because that's kind of what I specialize in per se on here and branching out to a separate thing outside of my career as a nurse. But the reason why people do those things is because they are so not themselves. We are taught since we are babies how not to be ourselves, how not to be our true essence. And I think the reason why I brought up my job was because it's this hierarchy system that it's in everywhere, most businesses, okay? And I work in the medical field within Western medicine. That is most hospitals are becoming corporate now. And it's insane. It's crazy, Okay, this world that we're in is really crazy. It's conditional. You can't say anything. You can't look certain, and it's like it's improved. We've had a lot of improvements over time. Trust me, there's a lot more rights, a lot more abilities that we have to make complaints, and that's the thing is just like people go to complaining to an upper hierarchy person. Go directly to the person and talk to them about the issue and resolve it with them. We don't need to go to the police all the time. We don't need to go to upper management all the time. Directly work with the person that you're having an issue with. That's what I do. And not a lot of people like that, but it resolves a lot of things, with people. It does. And the times that someone has an issue with me, they go to upper management. It's like, bitch, talk to me. Like, I'm not going to fight you unless you hit me, then I'm going to defend myself. But that's not, I usually am I'm pretty good about de-escalating dumbass situations. Anyways, I watched this video about a CEO of a credit line company called Gravity Credit. I think that's what it's called. But Dan Price, the CEO, 10 years ago, what he did, he was, I think, a multimillionaire because of this company. And what he did is he raised all of his employees' income to $70,000 each employee. And he also took $1 million pay cut. And now he makes as much as his employees. And that could be seen within the lines of socialism or communism. But I don't personally know him, but I've read things about him. And the thing that he's done is just really against capitalism. And it's against the majority approach of maintaining this hierarchy system of men being in power and someone being seen as less and someone being seen as on top. If you're on an island and you're a multimillionaire, billionaire, whatever, and you're stuck with someone who is poor financially, and the person who is financially poor has a lot of survival skills off of a land, you're going to want to freaking work for that person. You're going to want to do as much as you can as a millionaire, a multi-rich person, whatever you want to call. You're going to want to do the things for that person so that you can get their skills. And it's just with this hierarchy system, we're just tearing down our human spirit. And, trust me, I am still working on myself, and I have overcome so many things. I have expanded in so many different ways, and it's a never-ending process. There's still a lot of things that I'm working on myself. But overall, it's been a really beautiful experience learning from the difficult times and reflecting and really gaining wisdom, though there are more people out there who are wiser than me. But I'm just grateful that I don't really believe in these systems anymore. And I want to encourage more people in the world to just chill out. And, of course, I'm not saying to not stick up for yourself. All these videos are really projected towards women that have been cheated on and feel like their life is worthless and over because their partner cheated on them. If someone cheated on you, that has to do with your energy. Because when a woman is within her divine energy, a man will not cheat on her. And if he does, it is what it is. And we don't have to suffer. It's not like something that we have to ruin our lives for. And the reason why I do this is because I've had a lot of changes in my personal life and pain because of infidelity. My mom cheated on my dad when I was a little girl, and that just, blew things up in my family. I've been cheated on multiple times by my ex-husband and my previous partner, and that tore me down. And I was, not going through anything. I was experiencing a spiritual awakening, and I was like, why am I still so distraught by this man's actions? It's like it's not within my line of what I want. It's, I want a partner who is, faithful because I am faithful. And, we don't have to agree with everything. We don't have to. It's okay to be with someone who is more aligned with your beliefs. And that's the thing. about this hierarchy system and this patriarchal system that we are in this world is that we're taught, especially as women, to be quiet and to go along with the, the way things are. And that's cool, but we have to be unattached. We cannot be attached to what is going on. But when we're attached, that's what we got to work on. And I advocate for people, women specifically, to live life. We're here as physical human beings and we're supposed to be joyful. And these systems in place, they're oppressive and they tear people down in general. And it's like this cycle of the hierarchy system of bullshit. I have never met someone in my personal life, in real life, that has everything, that has money, that is successful business, and that is super happy, and that is not a dick, that is not an asshole. I've met so many wealthy people. I've, been friends with so many wealthy people and a lot of people who are poor. I used to be extremely poor myself, financially. Not most of my life, I've been very wealthy because every human being is wealthy. We just don't realize it. Being alive and breathing and being able to walk and having health is wealth. Okay. But the reason why I'm saying this is no matter what financial level you are, it's fucking boring. People always complain. No matter how rich, how poor you are, people always find a way to complain. Most people do not know how to be happy or have fun. I look forward to the day that I meet or become that person that is financially wealthy and that still has so much fun and still sees the goodness in humanity. Because honestly, over time and the continued experiences that I have with more and more humans, like my faith is kind of going down a little bit, and just seeing humans as, this is just the way we are, instead of as like a judgment. It's becoming more of an annoyance with humans. I'm just kind of like, really? Like, it doesn't make sense to do something, but that's human nature. And that's something that we have to accept, is just accepting people where they're at instead of changing people. And that's the thing that I've been trying to do for since I've, I used to use drugs, and since I've gotten sober and I've changed my life, which was 16 years ago, surprisingly, I started at a very young age. I've been on this journey of trying to change people's lives and encourage people to work on themselves and do better. And there's people that do, but it really comes from within themselves, and it takes a lot, and it takes a lot of strive and a lot of dedication, and that cannot be forced on anyone. People have to be willing to do this. And there's a lot of people that are not willing to go above the system and the hierarchy levels that are in place. And that's okay. This is just something that's gonna take time from a human perspective. There was something really important I was gonna say, but I forgot. The whole reason for this video is that it's okay to be sad, and it's okay to be anxious. It's okay to be angry, but don't take it out on anyone else or hold others responsible. If you're in a situation where you're feeling that, mostly, you gotta leave. And if it's a relationship where your partner cheated on you, please leave. I don't know why people stay together after infidelity. There are people who can successfully make it work, but why do we spend so much of our time in pain and suffering? It's a choice. Suffering's a choice. And most of the time it's a choice. There are people who are, not everyone knows this, but there are people who greatly suffer, who are among war, who are among lack of resources. The government is just not providing for the people. That is real. That's going on in this physical world. And that is an easy reason, not an easy, I don't want to say easy reason. That is just, I think, a more valid reason to truly, truly suffer. But so many of us are so comfortable in this world, and we're suffering so much. And one of the saddest things, and it's okay, I've been there too, and I still go back to it. I'm not perfect. There are times where I am not in these higher feelings, but there are more times that I feel it than not. But we have so many beautiful things around us and we stay in suffering. If you're staying in a relationship where it's not working out, just leave. You can leave. There are ways to leave. And a lot of people say in free countries where there are different jobs and so many different resources from the government say that they can't leave. Yes, you can. If you truly want to leave, you will find a way. You will find a way. And I really encourage, I know I keep saying this, I encourage women. I really do, because I'm a woman myself. I don't work with men. But women, we are the leaders. We are the leaders of this world that will return this world to wholeness, return to these systems that we have in place, to the truth, the way that systems are supposed to be. And I am just using Dan Price as an example because that is such a courageous thing that he's doing, to take a step down of his pay as a CEO or president of a credit line that he built, from my understanding, to the same level, I don't know, maybe a little bit higher pay than most of his employees. And the reason why I think it's so great is because it goes against patriarchy, it goes against capitalism, okay? He is bringing more joy and happiness to his employees. His employees are more loyal to him. His employees will not turn their back on him. And I'm not saying that it won't, that it's impossible, but it can happen. But over COVID, this company was supposed to shut down in 4 months or something. But all of the employees accepted taking a pay cut to continue the company, and it helped. And the company has grown 3 times in revenue since he's done this about 10 years ago, and it's still functioning, it's still working. I'm not that into stocks or following along the business stories of every single person. This is something that I heard, and I did research about him, and it's such a feminine approach to what he did. And he stayed true to himself, regardless of the large amount of criticism he got. He stayed true to his company. And, not every single corporation has to have these big dogs on top. And if you see how these structures of corporations tear us down, just like okay, let me scratch that. These systems are soul-sucking systems. Corporations and all these other things where there's a CEO and a president who makes millions and millions of dollars, where people who are doing a lot of hard work are making under $100,000. That's okay, and that's what they accept. Everyone can start their own business, and there's a whole process and journey along with that. But we have to work in the meantime. We have to have income in the meantime in this society that we're in. But him doing that is just a perfect example of how there are more holistic and human-friendly systems that can be put in place that are successful, instead of these corporations, instead of people being on top. And there's so many people on top that are freaking miserable, okay? Again, I've met so many wealthy people, and a lot of them are freaking assholes and miserable. That's not everyone, don't get me wrong. There's people in this world who have success in their business and they're independent entrepreneurs. That's awesome. Like Dan Koh is one of my favorites. Several other people as well. There's a girl that I really enjoy, and she's younger than me. She's a nerd. She's like 25, and I don't recall her name right now, but super inspirational. But I said all of these things, it's kind of all over the place, but I'm tying it into, as women, we are the true leaders of this world. We are supposed to have what I like to call an internal oasis, regardless of whatever's happening outside. When we feel this power and connection with our emotions and with our worthiness, we can build systems that are more aligned with the divine, that are more aligned with the truth of what it means to be a human being. Because clearly the systems that we have in place do not work. There is too many people in this world that are suffering. There's too many people on medication. There's too many people that are suffering to a level of wanting to commit suicide. It's a crazy world we live in, for sure. And we can change it. We have more power than we believe. And especially as women, We are the creators of this life. We would not have a human species without us. I don't have any children myself. I don't know if I can. It would be lovely one day. Who knows what happens? But just speaking from my own personal experience as being a woman and observing other women and mothers, we create life. We are supposed to be leaders. We're supposed to have people serving us, and there being peace among earth. We need peace on this earth. And it's already here. And that's what God tells us. Not among humans, though. There's a lot of issues between humans. And this could go down to a long conversation, but we as women, we are supposed to be, we are supposed to realize the wholeness that we have within ourselves and stay intact with our emotions and be devoted to ourselves and serving our higher power. And when we have that wisdom and we maintain that wisdom within ourselves, things around us just change. This is just some things about life. And it was kind of all over the place, but anyways, my name is Jess. Thanks for being here. This is my YouTube channel. I have another YouTube channel called Eco Culture. It's ECOCULTURR. So instead of an E at the end, it's just an R. And this specific channel is focused on metaphysical ways of overcoming infidelity and problems that we experience in life. I have a course called The Uncheated Code. It's $33. Look in my bio. The link is in there. The course provides metaphysical and holistic ways to just easily overcome infidelity. I experienced at that time in my life, it was very traumatic to me at that moment in my life, infidelity. And I was so distraught because of it. I was so traumatized by it. The next day I couldn't walk. And there's a history behind that, but that experience reawakened some wounds within my body. And it took me 3 months to fully recover. I fully got over the infidelity within 3 months. And it was by doing certain things, which are included in the course. I went from being unable to walk, being in severe pain, being miserable and feeling terrible about myself and about life and feeling worthless and not being able to work or do anything, to being very successful, very strong again, walking, and even more powerful than I was before that, and built of worthiness and just joy and deepening of I'm going on and on. Just check it out. If you have any questions or you like to comment, please do so below. Please like, please subscribe. Anyways.